All right, this is one of our most fun segments, our live reaction video. Neither one of us have seen this video.
So it will be genuine.
So we'll be definitely genuine. Full disclaimer, I'm not responsible for anything I might say. But our producer picked a good video for us, and we're going to get into that and give you our live reaction, our thoughts. Let's roll it.
I thought it couldn't get worse after Kanye West said he wanted to free Diddy, but it did. It got way worse. And some Kanye fans are trying to come up with ways to defend him. This guy said some water just got on his screen or something. Listen, man, as much as I would love to believe that water would have to be so precise in order to tweet this, and then follow it up with this, and this, and this, and these, and then this one that I can't even show in a video, and this one which I also can't show in a video. A lot of people are also commenting on my video saying, but he released Graduation. It doesn't matter anymore what this guy releases. This guy is done. We are moving on from Kanye West.
I mean, personally, I had been noticing something was wrong, or not wrong, but something he must be promoting an album. Something must be coming out. He must be dropping something, because I've noticed that whenever Kanye starts around Super Bowl time, he drops his ads, and he starts doing all this wilding out on the digital streets, and then maybe a little day after that, we find out he's having an album. So maybe this is just a more pre-release Kanye, or just Kanye West being Kanye West.
Yeah, it's Kanye. Like, are we ever surprised by what fucking Kanye do?
I'm still shocked that people are shocked by what Kanye does.
That's what I'm saying. Is how
he gets them every time. And maybe that's his superpower.
He's a marketing genius.
Yes.
He know how to take devices that we feed into and make it work for his self-aggrandizement. He's worked it. He's worked the system. I've seen a segment on Pierce Morgan, right? And they were saying, it was Jewish people in there, Rabbi Shmuley or whatever, these people in there, and they were like, Kanye talking about he hate the Jews and they should be slaves and whip a Jew and all this, and because I guess the point they was arguing was freedom of speech, and does that fall under freedom of speech? Even if it's hate speech, so of course the Jewish people were trying to say no, he's inciting people to hate each other, and like who's really whipping Jews? Who's what I'm saying? He's saying things to spark interest, to spark
conversation and reactions, right? That's what I'm saying. He does this,
right? I think I think he tweeted, "I love Hitler." Now what, bitch, or whatever. I don't know.
That looks like that's what that could be,
right? And now, to play the devil's advocate, have any of us listened to Hitler's speeches in English?
Hey,
how about I challenge you to do that before we go with the propaganda and the story that they give you about Hitler, and I don't want
programming
and the programming that they give you. I don't want to come off as a anti-Semitic and all that, but listen to some of them speeches what he was saying in English. And so you could really hear what he was saying and what he stood for. He was a nationalist. He stood for his nation.
Yep.
And the people in Germany were they said at that time Germany and Berlin was known for a lot of lasciviousness,
right?
A lot of pornography and homosexuality, and the books and stuff that they were burning were books that included.
He wanted to clean all that up,
homosexuality acts and pornography and stuff like that, child pornography, and so he was trying to clean all that up. And when Hitler was ruling, Germany became a significant player in the on the world stage.
That's how they was able to do what they did.
That's how they was able to do what they did. And about the story they give us is that he was anti-Jews and they was killing them, and he did the Holocaust and all that. But at the same time, he felt like these same people were trying to destroy
his people.
Yeah. So where's the thin line when a group of people is coming to destroy your people, and you stand up to fight back?
Yeah.
Who's the heavy in that situation? Who's the villain?
Yeah.
The person that is coming to attack and take over a land that's not theirs, or the person that fights back and prevents you from taking over my land and like this. So I'm sure that wasn't the reaction y'all thought I was going to say, but
but
I'm just saying.
Before we leave, though, to your point, That's one of the things I enjoy about life is challenging yourself mentally, though.
Yeah.
Questioning things.
Yeah.
Because when I shared that video of his speeches, Hitler's speeches in English, it was just like a whole new world flashed before my eye, because I'm just like, well, damn. If again, going back to understanding people's perspectives, being empathetic, if this is where they were coming from, then I can understand like why they had so much smoke for that group of people.
Right.
But again, but like you said, we were just taught the story of, because we don't know we don't know German.
Right.
So we just, prior to him hearing his speeches, I'm just thinking, oh yeah, he sound angry. He just sound angry and mad. Like he just trying to, like you said, kill the Jews, and he the Holocaust guy. Because I remember, like, believe it or not, I remember being a kid in like elementary school and them showing us Schindler's List.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah,
and just it was like just seeing those images bleached, was staying in my mind as to what quote unquote the Nazi Party and Hitler and all that represented, and that's what I carried up until the majority of my life, until I saw those speeches, and I'm just like, well, damn, like,
because I see
where he was coming from.
Almost every group of people on this planet went through some type of persecution.
Yeah,
so we can't sit here and say their persecution supersedes or outshadows or should be referred to more than someone else's. It's all injustices across the board, and like they say, slavery was a regular practice throughout the world.
Yeah,
so they say when we talk about slavery, like they had slaves everywhere, so they get on us and say we can't be too adamant about slavery and want any reparations, and they kind of downplay it because everyone else was doing it.
It's crazy. I saw an interesting video that was talking about that, and that he was talking about how they'll, a lot of people will say, like you said, oh, slavery was all around the world, and then if black people or Americans of African descent or Africans are like, oh, well, trying to talk about anybody else doing it, they'll be like, well, Africans sold their own people into slavery. But the video made the point of that's not true, because would you say that a Polish a German person and an Irish person is the same?
Right. Yeah, because they made the correlation of Africa being
white supremacy specifically making Africa just one blanket
of black.
Yeah, one monolith of black. Right.
There's multiple countries within Africa, and they all have their own ideology and their own footprint on the world. Right. And one country doesn't necessarily think they're part of the other country.
Right.
They're all their own entities.
Exactly.
And I've learned that from traveling to Africa, because I met Congolese, and I met people from Nigeria, and they all are in their own. They're in their own country. They have their own country and their own way of being, and their own ideologies, and the way they fellowship and talk and live, quote unquote.
They have their own customs.
Yes, and they're all
but they're not
different.
this. But so again, going back to the slavery days, let's just say a Nigerian and a Sierra Leonean, like, contrary to popular belief, if the Nigerians had Sierra Leonean slaves, or the Sierra Leoneans had Nigerian slaves, as far as the Sierra Leoneans and Nigerians trading those people, those weren't their people.
Right.
Those were our ops.
Those were the other people. The other people.
That was the enemy. That
was the enemy.
So it wasn't. So to people's points, no, it wasn't that the Africans sold their own people. No, they sold their enemies. So they sold their prisoners,
right?
Who happened to be people that quote unquote had the same hue. But if that same argument wouldn't be made if like I said, Germans and French,
right?
Like you wouldn't say, oh, Hitler or the Germans enslaved their own people.
Their own people.
It's the Germans did this to the Jews, or the Germans did this to the French. But it's the same for quote unquote Africans. But that's not how it's branded.
And then to bring it back to the whole Jewish thing, I challenge you to think, if the Jewish people were coming to take over that land and whatever, and impart their religious beliefs or whatever the case may be. But if you go back to the scriptural context of Jews, and how the Jewish people Jewish. That's why they call it Jewish, Jewish, because they're not. Because what the Bible tell you, the true Jews are, the 12 tribes of Israel.
One of those, right?
Yeah. So which have,
tribes, right?
Are people of color. So and the Bible teaches you how they stole the birthright. Mm-hmm. And then went on and kept perpetuating as if they were the one with the birthright. And it kind of makes sense because they fight so hard with the propaganda to keep you uninformed. They open up the vaults in Russia. They open up the vaults in the Vatican. And what did we see? We seen black pictures of Jesus. Mm-hmm. I mean, black as this my T-shirt. You know what I'm saying? So you have to think, why was that suppressed?
Yeah.
Why would you suppress a accurate picture of the Savior and replace it with the picture of the painter's boyfriend?
Right.
Because they say that's who the picture that y'all see was the artist's boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And when he did, all those paintings that's, that they, exalt. So if the Jewish people were going there to do that, and then we fast forward and look at America, mm-hmm. and then you listen to what Kanye is saying, I think we're all smart enough to see
the dots that's
being connected and the points that he's trying to make. And when he does make the point, they make it seem so outlandish and they try to shut it down. It's like the Jewish community is the only community that you can't say nothing about. Mm-hmm. How is that? There's a lot of races and ethnicities and cultures, and they the only one that can take everything from you in America and put it, because you can't be anti-Semitic. But the truth of the matter is, we can't be anti-Semitic. We are Semitic. You know what I'm saying? So we come from, that land. We come from that lineage, indirectly, or mm-hmm. whatever the case would be. So, I'm not one to be all like
Kanye being Kanye.
Kanye knows some, and they did some things to Kanye. Kanye been through some things where, they tried to make him crazy, put him on medication. They stripped him from his deals and everything because they said, because you say one thing that might be anti, all the racist things that are being said. But if it has any inclination to go towards a Jewish person or Jewish community, they take everything from you. Like how? Like what makes y'all better than everybody else? I don't know. I mean, your religion don't tell you that because the Bible said God has no respect of person. We all are brothers and sisters. We all bleed red. We all breathe in the same air. We all want the same things out of life. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. We love our families. We love our children. We love to have good times. We like good food. We have more similarities than differences. So why is it that, the subtle differences, get blown out of proportion?
Exactly.
And it's just like, I don't know. It's a lot, like we said, this the Ripple Effect podcast where we, create conversations, give you food for thought and just like to hear what you got to say.
Yes, sir.